aka Man of the People, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, and I am happy to be here tonight. I'm glad that everybody's going to be joining in. Let me just say so right now. There's a link in the description. There's two things in the description I want you guys to pay attention to as I continue to get my earpiece ready. The first thing is that you can join this show tonight. This show is live 100% for the reason for you guys to interact with myself and my co-host Andre Cassidy. I want to hear a lot from everyone tonight. Now, we also got a lot that we want to go over, so the show's going to be moving a little fast. But I want to hear from you all. What do you think about this current Panthers team, and any other thoughts you think about the coaching staff, the players, and all that jazz that we have to go over with for tonight? The other thing that I want to point out that we have available in that description is, drum roll, donations. Yes, we need donations, and we appreciate donations. So you can easily do a super chat and help contribute to the channel and help us continue to do what we do, covering this team for you. Or new alert is that we also have the ability to accept some contributions from Cash App. So if you're on the Cash App and you want to send us $1, send us 50 cents, something like that, we will happily accept that contribution from you. All right, so the way to do the Cash App is pretty simple. It's the letter CVIBE. That's it, CVIBE, and you can get your donations and contributions over to Charlotte Vibe. So let me just do a sound check, make sure everything is looking good. It does look good. And 1 second here. Trying to get my co-host on before I get too much further into the show. Co-host, where are you, co-host? He's going to be joining. So a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of things that we're going to talk about in this show. Hour-long show. The quarterbacks. The the head coaching position. The draft picks, our opponents for next year. We'll have some fun talking about fun moments from this year and best moments from this year, et cetera, et cetera. Give me just 1 second. My co-host is allegedly having problems getting on the show. We got to get him here. My earpiece is falling out as well. We got to get this earpiece in here right. There we go. And now we are ready to go. I'm gonna give him a second to sign on. By the way, I'm not seeing comments yet. Sometimes seems like it takes a second for me to see the comments. So if you have logged on and you're sending me your comments, not seeing them yet, but hopefully they will start to trickle in on the interface that I'm using right here shortly so that I can see those comments and read to you what those comments are. Should I give Andre a second to log on, or should I give him a hard time? Should I just go through it all? I don't think I'm going to be that mean of a good person. Let's see. There we go. All right, now I'm starting to see some comments come on here. I see C-Dog that says, hit the like button. So that, yeah, I didn't even go through that yet. So make sure I'm not centered, so let me get centered here. Make sure you hit the like button. That's something that I'm asking you guys to do, and girls. Every single time a video starts up, it's the easiest way to show some support for the channel. Just hit the like button. And you can also subscribe to the channel and turn on your bell notifications. So important if you like these live shows that you hit that, because that way you can come on and ask myself. And who is that? Behold, Andre Cassidy. Welcome.
Oh, finally made it in. I was getting a little worried there. I was like, man, why is this not working? But we're finally here. There is so much to talk about. I mean, the fact that we're even here at the end of the season already, I mean, that still blows my mind, Chris.
Hey, Andre, you went to the old link, man? Come on now. You know, every time there's a break, man, with you, every time there's a break, you never know what you're going to get with Andre. So Andre's the guy. I can't give him any more weeks off. because when he just goes. You know, he doesn't even respond to my text messages, people, that quickly.
Oh, stop it.
When he has a week off, it's like, I wonder if he has a secret life that, maybe one day I'll get to hear about. But Andre, it's good to see you. I won't take it personal that you slowly respond to my text messages after an off week.
Hey, in my defense, I mean, we're coming back from the holiday season, so I'm still a little groggy. But
It's January the 9th, man. We've all had a week at work. Or
see,
maybe we haven't.
see, the grogginess is still kicking in, man. Even though we're still almost 10 days into the new year.
Yeah, we're 10 days into the new year. So I sent you some notes for today's show, but just to let you know, and also a reminder to myself, there's a lot to get through. We really want a lot of people to sign on, so we're going to have to be cognizant of how much time we're spending on each topic, so that we can go through things, all right? So, and I don't even know where I want to start, but I'm going to start. All right, so let's do this. Let's talk about, man, normally I have the graphic ready. Let's talk about where the Carolina Panthers finished at for the season. So Carolina Panthers in the NFC South finished in what place, Andre?
It was second place. It was a three-way tie for second place at 7-10.
Yes, I didn't even know that until I just looked at it. I knew we were in second, but I didn't know there was a three-way tie. Three-way tie in that super strong division of the NFC South. Buccaneers at 8-10. I'm sorry, 8-9, making the NFC South crown, and Panthers, Saints, and Falcons all at 7-10. And by the way, I'm just going to say this one more time because I was asked yesterday, like, are you a fan site or are you a credentialed member? Not, and I have no distaste towards people that run fan sites because there's some extremely good fan sites out there. We are credentialed members of the media bringing you this information. So glad that you could join us and hope that you'll enjoy the show. All right, so that's it. We just went over the NFC South standings. And with that result of being 7-10, second place in the NFC South, let's see if I can put this on the screen here. Actually, I don't have a graphic for it, so I'm just going to tell you. That means this is also a quiz for Andre. I think we're going to just try to give him a hard time the whole show.
Bring it on.
What is our draft pick?
We are 9th as of right now.
Inside information?
Hey, that could change, but I think everything is official to my knowledge that we do have, indeed, the 9th pick in the 2023 NFL draft this year.
Let me find out that you're being slow on my text, but you and Scott Fitterer are pretty quick exchanging texts about things that are going on. Because you said for now, as if you know something, but nevertheless, we'll continue to work through this. So let's go ahead and talk about these draft picks. And again, I don't see, like, if I peek over at YouTube, I see a bunch of comments that I'm not seeing yet on my interface. I don't know why that is, but hopefully it'll work itself out. Or if I have to go through multiple screens, I will do so. But your comments are welcome and needed for this show. So as Andre alluded to, for now, we have the 9th pick. So let's go ahead and take a look at all these picks that we have coming up in this upcoming season. We currently have the 9th pick in the first round. We have a second round pick. We also have San Francisco's second round pick. We also have San Francisco's third round pick. We have our own fourth round pick. San Francisco did us well, I guess. Shipping Chris, we got to keep it moving because there's so much we could be talking about. But
right.
Shipping Christian McCaffrey to San Francisco seems like the deal of the decade, at least, right?
I mean, initially at the time, a lot of people received criticism for that trade for not getting a first-round pick. But, I mean, for what we were able to pull in order to trade for Christian McCaffrey, I mean, we have more draft picks this go-around than we did last year. So, I mean, we have plenty of draft capital, and that could be used for potentially getting an even higher pick, maybe even in the top 5, hopefully.
Yeah, and we didn't do it at the cost of tanking. So we had Deontay, Foreman, Chuba Hubbard, and Raheem Blackshear step up and, do awesome. Looks like Foreman was just on the verge of getting a 1,000-yard season. And we broke records against the Lions with all kinds of rushing, which is great. And then we still have all these picks. So we get our own fourth rounder. We get San Francisco's fourth round. And then we have our own fifth rounder. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, even though Andre probably already knew that. 7 picks this year until Scott Fitterer starts to get on that phone and make some deals. All
Hey,
right.
he could be right now. You never know.
Well, right now he's probably prepping for his interviews that he has with the coaches because, he's now part of that process this year.
Busy guy. I must
Busy
say.
guy.
Busy dude.
Earning every one of those few millions of dollars that he makes to run the organization. So, continue to move on. You like the pace, or is this too fast for you?
Oh, I'm digging it, man. I mean,
Okay.
there's a lot to talk about, so we got to be quick. But I mean, this is a whole season that we're talking about here over the next hour, so we definitely got to be quick, right?
Yeah, we might not be able to get through the whole season like I want to. I might have to do another season and review video. But let's talk about this. Because we finished in what place in the NFC South?
We finished second.
That means, and the season is over, that means our 2023 opponents are now set in stone. And Andre, I'm not going to ask you to know who those opponents are. That would be too much poking at you. I actually got a graphic for it, which I'm going to share. Hey, and we get some more comments coming. Appreciate those comments. We don't want that graphic. We've already used that. So I'm just going to take it off the screen so I don't do that again. B. Evans. can I show? I'm just going to show love for a second. B. Evans is a pilot with a plane. And man, B. Evans, my trip to Seattle was terrible. I don't know if you've ever flown that far solo. I would think that's still considered a nice distance in a small airplane. But if you're up for it, B. Evans, next year I can meet you halfway between where you are and where I am. I'm not going to tell everybody where you are. And we can fly out to Seattle, man. Because, and I'm going to come back to this. Look how I set this up. I
like
play
that.
Seattle next year. So here's our home and away schedule. Shouts out to the Carolina Panthers for allowing me to borrow this graphic because I did not make this graphic. So courtesy of Panthers.com. Here's our opponent schedule for next year. Of course, you got Falcons, Saints, and Buccaneers. We're going to play those teams home and away. We have the Green Bay at home, Minnesota at home, Texans at home, Colts at home, and the Cowboys at home. So quick question for you, Andre. Which one of those home matchups would you be looking forward to the most?
I would have to say Dallas. Every time Dallas comes into play in Carolina, that's always a big matchup because you got America's team in the Queen City. Whenever those two play, it's always an entertaining game to watch. So that will probably be one that you have to circle on the calendar whenever the schedule comes out for next season.
All right, and those that are watching, go ahead and leave your comments. So the question for Andre is always going to be posed to everybody that's watching. What home matchup are you looking forward to the most next year? I don't have one yet because I'm so busy trying to go through this and manage life. But let's go ahead and look at the away list. Again, Falcons, Saints, Bucks, they're the standbys every year because they are in the NFC South. Away games, Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions, Jacksonville Jaguars, Tennessee Titans, Seattle Seahawks, which my man B. Evans and I, he just sent me a text. I'm lying. He didn't send me a text. We're flying out there next year, and we got Miami Dolphins. So I'm just going to tell you this. I don't know. Do I want to say I'm looking forward to the Miami, fun in the sun? Even though on these trips, I really don't get to do anything for myself. It's usually in and then right back out. I'm actually most of the time trying to lead the same day as the team.
As the game.
Yeah, as the game to come back because I have family that I need to get back to, which is fine. I love my family. Any away game that you're looking forward to, Andre?
I would say Jacksonville. I think that's going to be an interesting matchup to watch. I mean, when you look at how quickly they were able to turn around this season, Jacksonville, from 3-14 to now making the playoffs. I think they're a team that's on the rise in the AFC South and could be a team that could be a force to be reckoned with for quite a period of time because every team in that division is without a quarterback practically for that matter.
You like the Jaguars quarterback, huh?
Yeah, that guy that went to Clemson, I believe his name is Trevor Lawrence. I feel like they're a year early, but they're making moves already, a year earlier than anticipated. But, I mean, they're going to be a team to watch for the next 3 or 4 years if things go the way that they anticipated going.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
oh, I got two volumes going on in my ear. That's not good. So let me. No, I got two different things playing in my ear.
Oh,
So.
okay. I thought it was something on my end for a second there. I was like, hold up, hold up.
Yeah, and I think I want a new earpiece for Christmas. This one's it falls out the ear quite a bit. I need to call up Greg
Hey,
Olson.
Christmas was just 3 weeks ago,
Okay,
Chris.
well, Valentine's Day, I want something more personal. So maybe Father's Day. That'll be the next one, right? That's in May, June.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for Father's Day,
That's the next one on the horizon
get me
after that.
an upgraded earpiece. But yeah, so those are the opponents that are now set for the 2024 season. And the Carolina Panthers, today is the day that they're already getting ready for that season. Teams that are not in the playoffs, transactions can begin to take place today for teams to start preparing for next year. And the Carolina Panthers did so. Andre, how many transactions did we make today?
I believe it was 9. That's my
Oh, he's
guess.
getting me. He's
9.
gonna make me look bad that I'm trying to put him on the hot seat, and he's nailing it all. So, if you ever wonder why Andre's here, the man knows his stuff. Good stuff. So
I
yes,
try to come prepared, right?
you did come. Oh, and I didn't see my mic is. Well, it's hard to see that my mic is actually in the screen. We need to fire our production assistant because
Oh man.
the mic is supposed to be hidden.
But
I
hey,
was
it blends in with the picture though. I didn't even notice it until you brought it up.
Yeah, you're right, and I won't. Let's skip talking about it so everybody doesn't see it. But by the way, for those that are watching, please continue to hit that like button if you're watching, and subscribe, and also consider hitting that bell notification so that we can you can be notified when we go live. Let's see, Andre, I'm going to let you talk through this next graphic. I'm not. Is there a delay when I put stuff on the screen from when you can see it?
It's about a 5 second delay from when you put it up and then when I can actually see it. So I would say put it up now and then we'll go over it here once it fully pops up here.
All right, well, I'll take it. I'll take it. So here's the transactions that the Carolina Panthers made today. They signed tight end Steven Sullivan. They signed tight end Giovanni Ricci. And then, so that means those guys are going to be with the team next year. Of course, there's plenty of time for these guys to get cut. So let's be clear. They get to inflate the roster up to, what is it, 90 something in the offseason?
I believe so. It's like 93,
Yeah. And a
somewhere
lot
around
of
there.
those people that get filled on there will be players from all kinds of situations. So it doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to be on the roster, but it certainly means that the Carolina Panthers want to try to have them as part of their organization, at least in the near term. So they get signed. Practice squad players got a little bit of a different thing where they don't really have contracts, but they kind of sort of do. So they call them futures, which still doesn't mean a whole lot of stickiness, but it lets the guy know, hey, we want you back. So they did that with quite a few guys today. Offensive lineman Deontay Brown, running back Spencer Brown, wide receiver C.J. Saunders, wide receiver Derek Wright, defensive end Kobe Jones, defensive tackle Raekwon Williams, and linebacker Aaron Mosby. So I'll leave that on the screen for a second for you guys to digest. But we had 2 guys signed, and then we had 7 guys from the practice squad that we say, hey, we want you to be a part of this off-season program with the Carolina Panthers, and would you oblige? So you see that? Has happened. Man, when I have to burp or sneeze, I just go to like turn away, but I forget the mic is still there. So I actually have to mute the mic when I have a situation like that come up. So I'll get better at that. Nevertheless,
It's a force of habits.
force of habits, force of habits. 20 minutes into the show, I don't have water, but I'm going on pure adrenaline of winning the last game of the season, being 7-10, and having some momentum for a change as we go into the offseason, and an offseason which could have a lot of change. How much change? Well, I'm going to let Andre Cassidy show you the free agents that we have that may or may not be back. And folks, there's a slight delay when it comes up. I'm just going to let him take over when he sees it so he can start to go down this list and do whatever kind of commentary he wants to do.
Yeah, so let's start off, right off the bat with Sam Darnold, right? He really came into this season. He got hurt, and, there was a lot to prove for him. And, when he came back in after the injury, he really did have a solid season coming back off of the injury and being prepared and, really taking some progression in his play. So look for him to be in the mix potentially as one of the quarterbacks for Carolina next year. You have offensive tackle Cam Irving, who was really a solid piece for extra guys on that line. Guard Michael Jordan, who had that touchdown yesterday in the Saints game. First time that ever happened for an offensive lineman in Panthers history. A big one right here, center Bradley Bozeman, somebody who they need to prioritize, I feel like, in order to solidify the line for next season. Wide receiver Rashard Higgins, Andre Roberts, another big one right here in Deontay Foreman. They need to prioritize his services and bringing him back. Defensive end Henry Anderson, Matt Ioannidis, Corey Littleton. I don't even know how you're going to pronounce this name, Chris. Joel.
Yeah,
I'm not even going to. Yeah,
I never even
we're just
tried.
going to roll with that.
Yeah.
We'll roll with that. We'll say
Joel L.
Joel for that one. Quarterback TJ Carey, safety Sean Tantler, safety Justin Burris, long snapper JJ Jansen, and then kicker Eddie Pinheiro. So there is quite a list right there. 16 players that are going to be unrestricted free agents heading into the offseason. A lot of guys on that list that I know Scott Fitterer would love to bring back, but that list, you can't bring all of them back, with the way that the cap situation is where it is. But definitely some key players on that list that you would think Carolina would want to have back for next season.
Hey, let me just give you three that I think we will be without: Andre Roberts, Rashard Higgins, and I'm gonna go with Cameron Irvin.
Okay.
I just want to pick three. I could try to go deeper, but I feel like those three will be off the list. I feel like Cameron Irving does not make it next year because he was really more of a role model, coaching up kind of locker room presence, and he had some carryover from last year where you could use him, but maybe with all the new stuff going on, new coaching, whatever that may be, and we're going to talk about that, maybe you don't need him. You'll use that spot for some other good reason. That's just my 2 cents. By the way, because we are working for the people, AJ Lindsay says what's up to Chris as well as Andre. Appreciate
What's
you
up,
guys.
AJ? What's going on, man?
Appreciate you guys. Let me go ahead and zoom through this. So we got some more restricted free agents. Quarterback P.J. Walker, safety Miles Hartfield, safety Sam Franklin, and then we have some exclusive rights agents, but we already re-signed those, being tight end actually I think it's pronounced Stefan Sullivan, and then tight end Giovanni Ricci. So yeah, we're getting you through it. Okay, hit that like button. So far, we've told you our 2023 opponents. We've told you the draft picks that we'll have so far, pending any changes of Fitterer texting Andre what he's up to.
Insider sourcing.
Yes. So opponents, signings, picks, and now there was a weird thing that happened yesterday. Deontay Foreman looked like he just suddenly had somebody tell him a "you mama" joke that just crossed the line. And he was pretty upset. And when I saw it happen, I said, well, man, you can't hit anybody like that. You're going to be ejected. You can push, you can tackle. Heck, you can even body slam a guy as long as he's not the quarterback and just get a personal foul. But if you punch a guy, especially in the face, you're going to get ejected. Now, it's not as strange as the Green Bay Packers player who pushed the training staff of the Detroit Lions yesterday.
That one was pretty odd, pending, the circumstances, too. I don't know. I can't defend that one there. That's just poor judgment on his part. that was pretty odd for sure.
Okay. So Deontay Foreman hadn't had any talkings with the media about it, but guess what he did? He made a statement, put it out through his agent, and we're going to share that statement to you. To the organization, my teammate. You know, I don't know if this can be any different just because of the world we live in, but I would like for apologies to not be statements. I would like them to just be like real.
Right.
It just seems like they're all templates. But again, with the current world we live in today, I don't know if he would be allowed to just be real and say my bad or say it in any other kind of casual language. But let me go ahead. Not a knock to Deontay, because I'm sure that everybody around him said, do it like this. But here we go. To the organization, my teammates, and our amazing fans. I still laugh at that now when I read it. Anyway, we got time. I sincerely and truly apologize for my actions in yesterday's game and not being available. My actions were totally out of my character. I am deeply regretful of everything that happened and assure you it will never happen again. I absolutely love being a Panther and wholeheartedly look forward to this journey together. All right. By the way, if you hear my baby in the background, he's recently learned how to talk and walk. And yeah, so sometimes he's just, mom's back. Mrs. Charlotte Vibe is doing her thing right now, trying to keep what we call boy kingdom away from the doors right now as I go live.
He's growing up right before our very eyes, man.
He is. So let's get into some good stuff. Not that we haven't got into some good stuff. Let me tell you, I'm ready to play some videos. Let's go and play
All
some
right.
videos, all right? So Steve Wilks had some time in which he spoke to the media today. And if you don't recall, some people feel like he didn't get a fair shake, but Steve Wilks head coach out in Arizona when he first left Carolina. And he only had a 1-year shot out there. And then he was released, and then he went through some other coordinator positions, actually went to college out in Missouri before he got back to Carolina, still as a secondary, and now, as you know, the interim head coach. Anytime you have an opportunity and I would say maybe fall short, do you learn from it? What is my son doing?
He's being the star of the show. That's what he's doing.
Jeez. Let's go ahead and have Steve Wilks talk about what he learned from being out in Arizona.
I think number one is just communication and guys being on the same page, having a staff that's going in the same direction. It was very important for me when I got rid of coaches and making the change. I wasn't quick to bring guys in because I believe it's so important to have the right fit. So the defensive coaches did a tremendous job in their quest to try to keep things together because we were several guys down on that side of the ball, and those guys stepped up and did a tremendous job. So I wanted to make sure that, again, we had the right people at the right position.
Okay, Andre, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think when you look at Coach Wilks, a lot of people call him a loyalist because he sticks with the people that he has with him. And I think a lot of the moves that he made with his coaching staff, he stuck with a lot of guys. He didn't make that quick decision to fill in that hole because he wanted, his guys that he has under his realm to take on different parts of the defense. And, for him, I think that's what a lot of people consider a strength, but for some a weakness because, you have to have some level of flexibility when it comes to making changes. But he's somebody who will always stick with people who have stuck with him. And I think that's something that he learned in Arizona and even, in his short time here in Carolina as an interim.
That Seattle bug still comes back and jumps out at
It's
me.
persistent, man.
Like, I feel 100%, and I feel like an
It just comes out of nowhere.
Coughing. But here's something I really want everybody that's watching, even if you're watching this recorded, I want your opinion on. And in regards to Steve Wilks, for me, the more I see him, the more I really, really want him to be our head coach. I feel like, sometimes like in the quarterback or on the defense, like you like a certain personality, but obviously you don't have to have everybody. Doesn't have to be a very vocal Dante Jackson kind of player. Everybody doesn't have to be a Cam Newton type of quarterback to be effective. But sometimes it rings differently for different purposes. For Steve Wilks, the way that he talks, and I feel like as long as he's getting some kind of results, and it seems like he does, it's powerful. And you think like, man, this guy, if you can get 100% out of a team, I wouldn't want to say that. I just feel like he can get the maximum out of whatever he has. And that's a good skill to have because some years you don't know what your turnovers may look like. You don't know what injuries you may have. You don't know what draft picks you may have. And you need somebody that, with what you have, can get the most out of those guys. And he just, as we play these clips, just listen to the way he talks. But again, I know we got a little bit of a time, so I'm going to try to keep it short. And if we have more time, I'll come back and talk more about that. But I feel like he's really impressive in the way that he talks. A few other things from his press conference today. Very proud of these guys for what he calls not letting it get in the way. Again, another thing that I just like the way that he presents that. He's held on to saying it. It for Steve Wilks being anything that could be a distraction from your goal, right? It. Don't let it get in the way. He's really proud of that. And also proud of the fact that he pointed out we won our last home game. We also won our last away game. That's something to build on for this team. I think there's a lot to build on from what he's created. I personally think he's a little bit of a genius and that he approached coaching this team in a way that instilled a lot of stuff in it that, like, if he leaves, you immediately feel a dramatic change. He instilled like this keep pounding. He instilled like men and accountability and honesty. Like he's certainly, in my opinion, created a culture already. And if he leaves, unlike most interim coaches, I'll go back to Perry Few. When he left, there was no like, oh, there's going to be this big missing thing or this big change. If Steve Wilks doesn't get the job, even I'm not saying the next coach can't do their job, but you're certainly going to feel like something was missing. He was asked a question about, as he got this locker room under control, what things were good achievements for him. He said the first win at home was a big thing for him, especially coming against one of the best to do it, and Tom Brady with the Bucs. So that was something that he felt like was a good building thing for him, as well as winning 2 in a row. I did mention they won their last home game and they won their last away game, but they also won 2 in a row with the home game versus the Denver Broncos, and then going on the road and winning at Seattle, something that they had not done in quite. I don't know if you know how long, Andre, but I know it has been quite a while.
Yeah, with the last home game win, it had to be like at least a year, but I don't remember the exact number. But it was, from what he said, a considerable amount of time since that last happened.
And we got so much to come through, but I just see Josh saying he agrees with you. Wilks is the real deal. The players and fans support him the hard way. Wilks deserve it, and that's from the bottom of my heart. Yeah, again, I know people might worry about his ability to coach an offensive team and build around the offense, but I just feel like Steve Wilks takes what you give him. If he doesn't have Tom Brady, I'm just making up a name. Of course, you guys can say he's not doing good right now, but if he doesn't have this phenomenal quarterback and his outstanding situation offensively, he's not going to try to be something that he can't succeed at. So that goes to a ground and pound. But if you give him that, I feel like he would change it because he's had instances where, like yesterday, well, I'm sorry, not yesterday. My son's still hollering in the background, so I get a little distracted. But he'll throw the ball. I think it was the game before last where Sam still had over 320-ish passing the ball.
Yeah, against Tampa, and then you go up against New Orleans and you only throw for 50 yards the entire game. But they were still able to win despite that. And that's a credit to Steve Wilks. And like you said, getting the most out of your players, despite the fact that maybe one part of your team doesn't play adequately well. You're still able to overcome that. And I think that's a testament to what Steve Wilks has been able to do with this team.
You know what else he had to do? He had to battle with quarterbacks. Not one, not two, not three, we probably don't even think about this, but he actually had to go through more than 4, and even I'm not even counting all the guys that came and went as we were down like sometimes just one quarterback, and he knows he just needs a body just in case the worst of the worst happens. So, WIlks, tell us how you handled that quarterback position.
I think, and I said these words earlier, I think it's about communication, clear, concise clarity. That's what I gave those guys. So I didn't really go to talk to, PJ separate. I didn't go to Baker. I didn't go to Sam. We all sat down and we talked together as men do. And I gave them clarity on the direction in which we were going. Sometimes you don't like it, but they had a great level of respect when you can come to them directly and tell them this is what it's going to be this particular week. And when you look at, and I tell coaches this all the time, only so many guys can start, and you want those guys that are disappointed and upset that they're not on the field. But you got to be able to handle those difficult situations, and the only way you can do that is being truthful and up front with them.
So I'm going to let you take more of this because I'm going to curb myself, but I know it was Josh, Thomas, and a few other people in the comments said they agree with me. If you listen at the way that he said that, he challenges you all the time without like barking and yelling. He said we sit down as men. You know what that says? If he says, hey, all quarterbacks come together and let's talk, and then you can't really take it, then you're going to be like, man, well, I'm not being a man, right? Because he said, like, as men do, so that's like a little cute, like, okay, I'm a man. I ain't going to just sit here and like, whatever, cry or fuss. I mean, you can be upset, but you're going to be like, this is what men do. We sit down. And just to think about the fact that I couldn't imagine what it's like. I would assume it's a good thing, though, because the players responded so well. You might expect, hey, PJ, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to have to sit you down this week because I believe more in Sam. Whatever. I want Sam this week. So just know that it's coming in the meeting. No, he sits down with all of them. But, Andre, I'm going to zip it. Super chats, donations, please consider doing so. Links are in the description if you want to do Cash App. I'm turning it over to Andre to comment.
Yeah, and it just speaks to the level of professionalism that all 3 of them showed throughout the season. I mean, when you look at Baker Mayfield in particular, he was the guy coming into this season, and his play didn't really justify the starting position, so they had to make a change, and they went with P.J. Walker, and then when P.J. Walker got hurt, they went with Sam, and yada yada yada. So it was definitely musical chairs at that position, but you got to give credit to really all 3 of those guys for the level of professionalism that they showed, because obviously when you are denied of the starting position, the easy way out is to say, hey, screw this, I'm not involved, I don't want to be anywhere near the team, yada yada yada. But it just goes to show the level of commitment that they have, the level of belief that they have in Coach WIlks. And you got to give Coach WIlks credit, too, for just being blunt and being honest with what the plan is and what they're trying to do. And, when it comes down to it, we're all professionals here. We all have to be direct and honest in our approach. And I think that's what everybody in that locker room did, starting with Coach WIlks.
You forget just how bad, maybe some people are going to say, no, I haven't forgot. But you forget just how bad things have been and how much shuffling has had to be done. Here's something that I want to share that I saw while getting together for this show. I forget who we were playing, Andre, but do you remember a guy named Jacob Eason?
Eason against the Rams, man. Against the Los Angeles Rams.
Eason came out there. I don't know if he scored, but he had a pretty effective drive, nevertheless. Let's say we only had 40 yards all game. Maybe he came out there and threw for 60 yards on his one drive. and everybody was like, Eason's the answer. Let him cook in this lineup. Right, let Eason. Because P.J. Walker got hit or something late and got hurt? But anyway.
Yeah, or something like that.
We were at a point where we wanted Jacob Eason to have serious playing time on this Panthers offense because things were just so all over the place. Who remembers that? But this man kept things under control and got us to where we were just last week disappointed from not, missing our playoff opportunity. We had it right there and we weren't able to secure it. That is amazing.
Yeah, from where it once was, and that was Coach Wilks' first game when Jacob Eason was in there. From where we were at that point in the season to, hey, just being literally on the doorstep of the playoffs. I mean, that's quite the turnaround. And, if you're Dave Tepper, if you're watching this show tonight, you need to consider all aspects of that as you continue your search for your next head coach of the team.
Hey, you think a guy like Steve Wilks would say that he has any regrets?
I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, he's somebody who is very confident in his abilities, but let's let the man speak for himself on that one.
You know this guy is never going. And again, hopefully I'm not beating a dead horse. Listen at how he responds to this. Talking about regrets, man. It's like, anyway, here we go. Maybe not. Here we go again.
So I would say no, because as I look out here and I expand my vision, and I see all of you guys, let's just call a spade, right? None of you guys expected us to even be in this situation. So
Just right off the bat. Right off the
Confession.
bat.
I was not in the stadium today. My schedule did not allow me to be there. But it's not that I'm willing to say, like, hey, I can't wait to go to the War and have words with Steve Wilks. That is not what I'm saying. And maybe I felt more comfortable and could think of a response because I wasn't there. And if I was there, it might have been like this. But when he said that, it's like, let's call a spade a spade. You got now you gonna talk about us?
Some feistiness in that response, I must say.
But he's like, anyway, let me go back to playing this video. I'm having a lot of fun, but here we go. Sorry.
So I would say no, because as I look out here and I expand my vision, and I see all of you guys, let's just call a spade, right? None of you guys expected us to even be in this situation. So to be able to take a 1-4 team and to be able to, get to the doorstep of possibly winning this division and going to the playoffs, I have no regrets whatsoever, and to create an identity, to breathe some life back into this football team and the respect within this organization that we started to receive throughout the league, of the identity that we created. We set franchise records for rushing and total yards. We went on the road and won big football games that no one gave us a chance to win in Seattle. So, no, I don't have any regrets.
Say something. Ask me a follow-up question. So for me with that, man, I wish I could be a fly on the wall when he's having the interview with Tepper and Fitterer in there. So, I don't know if they're going to ask him to qualify himself for being fit or if they're just going to ask him questions about what he wants to build in the future. But I feel like if they went to ask him a question about, hey, qualify yourself, man, I would love to hear
Spade a
that.
spade.
Yeah, let's call a spade a spade. Your team looked like crap, before I got here. You tell me how many people you saw talking to you in the grocery store before I took over this franchise. You tell me how many times people filled the stadiums when I was here. You tell me how many times people tuned in anyway.
And if he won't say it, good and dang well, he is thinking it in that moment there whenever they ask him that question.
Yeah, so I think Steve Wilks, I think he deserves the job a lot, but I'm just going to share this information with you guys and keep going. One thing to keep in mind, though, is if Steve Wilks doesn't get this job, or even just looking at two ways, if he doesn't get this job, what other opportunities may he have? And even bigger is, are people calling him right now saying, hey, just to let you know, we want you. We think you're a good head coach. Wilks, of course, would not tip his hat in any way about if he has had calls or his agent has had calls for other opportunities. Of course, he goes by the moment of being where his feet are and living in today, so he's only going to talk about today. So you don't know, but he also said that he feels like the morale in his stadium has gone up. He says a coach it's not just the men in that locker room that he affects. It's an entire organization of a business side, a marketing side, a sales ticket side, grounds crew, and all those people. And he feels like the morale has changed since he's been here, and I really don't disagree. Even if you think that there's another coach that you would like, in my opinion, you cannot disagree that things are better. Even if you say Rule was terrible, Wilks could have been terrible. Again, when Perry Fuel took over for Ron Rivera, what was that?
Ooh. Oh boy. I totally forgot about that name until you said it just now. I mean, it just shows you that period of time after they did fire Rivera, how forgettable it was to end out that season. I mean, he was like, did he even win a game when he took over?
I don't think he did.
Uh,
I don't even want to look it up because I get flashbacks, and I'm right now on a good flashback. So.
I don't want to give you PTSD, Chris.
Please.
I'm going to just leave that for open interpretation.
Yeah. So let me continue to fly through this. We got like about 15 more minutes. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Andre and I put a lot of time into it. We love what we do, though, so let me certainly say that. We love what we do. And
absolutely.
Hit that like button if you can. Super chat if you can. Give us we hadn't got anything tonight. I'm not going to be like the auction guys, begging for the extra dollar. But, it's just $1 even. Again, our Cash App is CVIBE, CVIBE, really easy to remember. Help continue to support the show. It's myself that covers the team day by day, year round. And then we have part-time Andre Cassidy, which you see here, co-hosting with me tonight. And then also at home games, we have our photographer, Julio. So that's 3 of us that is always behind the scenes trying to take care of things. And we would love your support and continue to do what we do.
What he said.
So Scott Fitterer was up next. And, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to let the cat out the bag. I'm going to try to be friends with Scott Fitterer. I really like this guy. I really like how personable he is and giving information. Like, sometimes our job isn't the easiest to try to get stuff. And you certainly understand why coaches may want to protect some things, but you still want to continue to feed the beast, so to say. I just really like the way he interacts with the media. For him, he said that this Carolina Panthers team this year has been one of the most resilient teams that he's been around. Of course, you can understand why. We had so much turnaround with starting out 1-4, firing a head coach, losing star players, losing okay players, losing coaching staff for when Matt Rule got his job. And even Steve Wilks, maybe, the casual fan don't know this, but he did not even have a full staff most of the season because he was still just, like he said earlier, I played the clip, not just trying to bring anybody in. And that was particularly on the defensive side where those coaches had to, run some double duty to get stuff going. So great job, in my opinion, of what Steve Wilks did. So today, Fitterer, in my opinion, said very well, like out of respect for the process, he could not give so many details. He couldn't say exactly what type of coach that he was looking for. He can't tell you who all that they're going to be interviewing. He did say that he's going to be a part of that group in terms of just interviewing those head coaches. David Teppers will be a part of that. Nicole Tepper will be a part of that. And they don't have a timeline. They don't know if it's a 1 week, it's 1 month, because there's so many other moving pieces to it. But what he is looking forward to seeing as he goes through this process is it's going to give him an opportunity to know how other people outside of the organization view the Carolina Panthers, because you're going to know by what those coaches are wanting. I know I saw out there today that executives around the league ranked the Carolina opportunity as the #1 open opportunity out there. I don't know if that helps or doesn't help. I guess it's just a cool fact to know.
It's something. It's something to consider.
But for Fitterer, in terms of that quarterback situation, as we all know, it just decides by who your coach is.
Yep.
Because that coach's philosophy can have your offense looking one way, and Sam's perfect. They could have it looking another way, and Sam's the worst thing ever. So it's really based on who the coach is before he can really get into that part of things as far as the quarterback outlook. Let me say this because I forgot to go over it. We have some major injuries that happened yesterday. Do you know him by heart? you want me to go over them? I didn't warn you ahead of
I
time.
know it was 2 players on the offensive line,
Mm-hmm.
Brady
Yeah,
Christensen and Austin Corbett.
you got it. So we had, for the first time in I don't know how long, where we only had 2 lineups all year, and it produced extremely good results from pass protection and also run blocking. Yesterday, unfortunately, we had 2 of those guys go down with some serious injuries.
Yep.
Right guard Austin Corbett, he did tear his ACL, so that's going to be a long recovery for Austin. Left guard Brady Christensen did fracture his ankle.
Ooh.
Being a big guy, that's got to hurt, and going to be a long injury. So again, right guard Austin Corbett tore his ACL. Left guard Brady Christensen broke or fractured his ankle. This offseason, we talked about the draft picks. We'll show them to you one more time or not. Nope, I deleted that graphic. Let me see if I can show you one more time quickly. No, I cannot. But we got a lot of draft picks. We got 7. I'm sorry. Is it 7?
It is 7. Yeah,
7
7
draft
draft
picks.
picks.
Got a long list of free agents that we went over. I was going to make a joke that Andre Cassidy called him up and got this, but here's Scott Fitterer on the outlook for the draft and just getting his team ready for the future.
That's my guy.
We're in a situation with this team where getting the offensive line settled, we feel like we have some running backs. We have DJ, Terrace is coming on. We need to make a couple tweaks on defense, but we have one of the best young corners in the league. Dante Jackson, way back. This is a year that we kind of focused on building the basics the last 2 years, defense and offensive line. This is the year that we can go out and take some shots on more explosive type athletes and players. It might be a little bit more of a sexy draft than just a nuts and bolts type drafts.
So yeah, that was Scott Fitterer there talking about what his intentions are this offseason. And really, this past offseason, through the draft and through free agency, they really invested a lot in their offensive line. And really, the 2 lines, offensive line and the defensive line. So they were really focusing in on building that wall, right, on both sides of the ball. And now, since those 2 parts of it are solidified, there's maybe more opportunities where, like he said, we're going to go and pick after some sexy players. He even said that in the press conference, and that drew a lot of laughter within the group there. But yeah, I think this is the time. This is the time to start taking some risks and start going after some explosive players. Maybe get an explosive slot receiver to go alongside DJ Moore and Terrace Marshall. Maybe go and get another running back to go alongside Deontay Foreman and Chuba Hubbard. Finally address the tight end position, which has been, an issue for the past couple of years. There's going to be a lot of opportunities, especially in this year's draft, where they're going to be able to get some players that can turn something out of nothing. And, that's something that they're looking for, getting some more explosive players for an offense that could use some more firepower for the team.
How are you going to ignore this comment from Leonard, man? You just going to let it sit there?
I mean, when you look at it, maybe you could add some, extra pieces. But ultimately, I think it's time that they start adding some more skilled players and adding some more opportunities for some explosive guys to really open up what we've already been able to do, but expand upon that as well.
Hey, in the interest of time, I'm going to play one more clip from Scott Fitterer. Will Sam Darnold be here next year?
A lot of it will depend on the offense that we're running and those type of things. I am very pleased with the growth that Sam made. Yesterday was a tough day for him, but he found a way to win in the end with his feet. He made a big throw late in the game. Those are the type. Even though the numbers weren't there, that's the type of growth you want to see when you don't have your A game and you can find a way to win it at the end. But again, just like last year, he had 3 or 4 games that were pretty solid in there. Didn't turn the ball over and was making the throws he needed to make.
All right, so we're about to zoom through some comments here, and I just got to point out one thing that we haven't talked about so far. Me liking Steve Wilks. The guy today was like, basically, hey, so you guys want to talk about an ugly win and I see you guys want to talk about the passer rating. Call up Aaron Rodgers and ask him if he'd rather have a 0 passer rating or a W. And I'm like, yeah, that's right.
That's a fair question.
Again, sitting in my office, I had a response for that. But I don't know if I had been in the press conference if I would have had the response that I had, because I know he couldn't reach me and talk back to me where I was. And by the way, I had some other notes and things that I wanted to go over. I will touch on this. I had a chance to interview Steve Wilks. I was trying to get the video up in time before the night to show it, but I don't. Had a chance to speak with Steve Wilks in Spartanburg before the season started. And it was cool to talk to him. I have a lot of respect for him. Really appreciate him taking the time out back then to give me a one-on-one interview with him. And yeah, I'm gonna try to get another one. Hopefully he'll be the coach, so that could be more likely than not. But Steve Wilks, yeah. So let's run through these comments. We literally only got like 5 minutes, so I'm just gonna try to run through these things and give some shout outs to people.
Yeah.
Tristan Morrison, are the Panthers going to pursue Harbaugh? So as of right now, it doesn't look like that they're going to pursue Harbaugh. Harbaugh's camp really was reaching out to us, or I should say to the Panthers, but it doesn't really seem like they're going to go in that direction with Harbaugh. Josh Rousey likes Wilks coming back. What do you guys think? He deserves it, right, or am I crazy? So since I already touched on that, I won't take up more time with that. If Wilks is brought back, would he be able to bring his own coaches in, like a different offensive coordinator? If he is brought back, would Caldwell be a fit? So I'll let Andre, if he has a comment on the Caldwell one, but in terms of would he be able to bring his own staff, absolutely 1,000%. That's what the head coach has the freedom to do. You notice when Matt Rule left, he immediately dismissed, oh man, I can't think of the old man, Snow, as well as some others. And he continues to control what his staff is. So absolutely. Andre, you got a comment on Caldwell?
Yeah, I think Caldwell will be somebody to consider. I don't know if he'll be a favorite. I would probably put Frank Reich as more of an option over Caldwell. But, I mean, he does have a respectable resume. I mean, he is a 67-year-old man, so you also have to factor that in as well. But he's somebody to be considered, but I don't know if he would be somebody that would be a favorite on top of the list for the Panthers.
B. Evans, great season, guys. You all are legends. Best exclusive Panther content, period. See you next season. We'll be here. Love you much, Byron. Is it Byron? I forget what it is. I just made up this guy's first name. So disrespectful. B. Evans, really appreciate it. Popping bullets. If we keep Wilks, he has to nail the offensive coordinator seriously.
He does. He really does.
Talk about that real quick. I don't think you were on air, but you don't like Mid McAdoo? Or do you?
I'm not on the McAdoo train, to be honest with you. I mean, he really did have a good game against Tampa Bay, but I think, for him, he's just too inconsistent, and I don't know, he just doesn't seem as imaginative as you want a offensive coordinator to be. I don't think he brings Carolina to the next level in terms of, bringing out the best out of what he has. I know he had an experience, or at least have had some experience. But, like, when they were considering bringing him in, this past off season, like, nobody else was wanting his services. We were, like, the only team that was even calling him to be considered for one of our offensive coordinator spots. So, for me, I think it's going to be one and done for him. I think better options are out there for that spot.
You just don't like his hairstyle or something, isn't it?
You
want a sexy
No, it's the towel, Chris. Every time I see him, it always looks like he's coming out of sauna with that dang towel. I mean, it just looks a little sloppy.
Thomas Frisbee, I'm glad the Panthers are playing in Detroit, especially being a fan of Northwest Ohio. Hey, Thomas, I always said this. I try to do at least half the games. Hopefully we'll be in Detroit. So if I'm there and you're there, please find me, say hello. That'd be great to meet you. The real sun. What am I saying?
You're making up stuff, man.
Oh, I hit the wrong thing. Okay. Let's see. This is okay. I was like, man, I'm reading something, but I'm seeing something different. What you guys can see my screen. Nevertheless, the real Sunchild says 17-0 next year. I don't like that because that's
Oh,
gonna make my locker room job just so hard and everything. But yeah, I like the optimism.
that would be something if that were to happen, though. But we got
Underground.
to be real around here.
I think we can excel with Wilkes if he has a whole season. And again, we're gonna really speed through these because I probably got we're at the hour mark, so I need to go through these very quickly. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to comment on all of them. Away game depending on how the Lions fare out this playoff season and how they rebuild next season. All right, I'm gonna be more selective in what I read. Justin wouldn't be mad if we kept Wilkes. Super Trebo, what's going on, guys? Why is news about Steve Wilkes being the coach so quiet tonight? And who y'all got in the title game tonight? Do you think UNC Tar Heels might ever get a chance to go to the football title? So I don't know. I mean, there is the football championship, so that could be why there's slow news tonight. In terms of the game tonight, I don't know anything about college football. I know you guys may say whatever. I don't. Andre, any votes for who wins that game tonight?
I'm gonna say Georgia just because of how well they're undefeated. That's the first thing, and then they've just dominated college football really the past year and a half. So I'll be rooting for Georgia tonight. And apparently, you can't even tailgate at the game over there in LA, which is kind of bizarre. I mean, that's part of tradition, you would think, right? It's a tailgate before the game, and yet you can't even do it. It's a little bizarre, if you ask me.
All right, and then you got Panther Pickle. He fell asleep. I guess that means he woke
Oh
up.
man,
Good to see King A in here. What's going on? Let's see. Ali Broderick says, do you think it's more of an advantage that the players are vouching for Wilkes to be the head coach versus another coach that has a better win-loss record? I absolutely do think that's something that
heck
is
yeah.
going to weigh. I mean, you don't see that. Like, I don't know to what level they're going to go. I know Shaq Thompson has been very vocal about it and saying trying to meet with him. So I don't know how strong that is, that he has like a coalition of 10, 15 guys. I'm sure 10 or 15 guys won't have that kind of power. They probably need to be captains, but you don't see that and the way that they're saying it. Typically, like, hey, I like this guy, I want to play for him, but they definitely have a stronger way that they're talking about one Wilkes. Donald Duck, I think we're going to have a chance in Corral next season. If he doesn't work out, then go all out on Drake May, UNC, born and raised. Let's continue to try to bounce through some of these.
We were due for a Matt Corral shout out, and there you
gotta
go.
get it out there. Underground West says Wilkes made him excited for Panthers football again. Donna wore her
did.
Victory Monday shirt. Yay.
Yes.
Man, the game was just it. Time seems like it's flying right now.
Right.
Wow. Let's see here. Why didn't Teppers show up for the last game of the season?
Oh, that is a good question.
How do you know he wasn't there?
They were saying on Twitter that he wasn't in his owner's suite over in New Orleans. So whether that's verifiable information or not, I mean, that is what people are saying, that he was not at the game yesterday.
Should the owner make every game?
I would say so. I mean, he's been to every game, I believe, this season, and he is a passionate owner, a self-proclaimed passionate owner, so you would expect him to be at every game, I would imagine.
I guess considering that you know the schedule months in advance, you're a billionaire, so you have the ability to easily get in and out of the city. I guess it's.
I mean, what else could he be doing on a Sunday in New Orleans? I mean, come on now.
I guess I hadn't thought about that much, but that's cool. Don B, I'd like to hear that answer, Brett Holt. Oh, okay. It was reported that Nicole showed up, but not Tep. Well, they're both Teppers. So it's like Chris can't show up, but Jenkins does show up. It's still the same. But I appreciate it. Hey, Josh Rousey says, good night, Chris and Andre. Hope you guys have a great night. Catch you in the off season. Absolutely. Wonderful show tonight. Thank you for running through it with me, Andre. I feel
Absolutely.
like I can say that I missed you, man. Maybe I'm just feeling good, but I felt like a lot of good energy tonight.
Yeah, man. And, this is the first time we were on together in 2 weeks? I mean,
that's
it
right.
was, since Christmas, I think.
Been a minute.
Yeah, the Monday after Christmas. So,
Oh, yeah, because I missed the game after Tampa Bay because my flight got in late.
Yeah. So I guess this is my first opportunity to say it to you on air. Happy New Year, even though we're like 9 days into the new year. So Happy New Year to you and to your family.
Happy New Year. I mean, I've been texting you, but as I alluded to earlier, you don't really respond to my text.
Come on, man. I've been busy talking to Fitty, man. We've been talking about, the deals that we could be making with Chicago, maybe with Houston. I mean, this line is always ringing, man. What can I say?
You probably got 2 phones over there, don't you?
Oh, don't be telling people my secrets, Chris.
You're right. I'm sorry. I said probably.
Snitches get stitches.
Wow.
That got you there.
That got me, man. Phlegm's coming all over the place. So, thank you all very much for supporting Andre and I, as well as Julio, our photographer, during the season. It's not over. As Steve Wilks said, I mean, man, I could talk about his press conference all day today. What he said to the guy, he said, who says there's nothing else to win or play for or something like that?
Yeah. Well, he said something about, there's no more days to win because the season is over. And then Wilks was like, every day is a day to win. I mean, this is where we're in the off season now.
Steve, you don't have a contract.
Season.
Again, I could think of this because I wasn't there, but I would say it is over. You do not have a contract.
Well, every day is a good day to win. That's probably what he would say in response to that.
Hey, because I could talk all night and I got to go. For Andre Cassidy, I'm Chris Jenkins, credential members of the media covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe. We appreciate you. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. We will see you all again shortly.